everybody, and welcome back to the Tea with Crema 2022 edition. We out here. My name is Chris. I'll be your host today, and I'm joined by my best friend, Emma.
Hey, y'all.
Oh my gosh, welcome. So, today we're continuing our part one of reflecting and being, what's that word? Preflecting into 2022.
I don't think that's an actual word, but it's fine.
It's gonna work today. And so, we are really just being intentional about using our vision boards from last year, reflecting on how things went, and then today, redrafting, reapproaching, re-examining, recreating our vision boards for 2022. Lots of re's in there. I was just going, really ad-libbing.
We're just doing all the things, all of them happening.
I was feeling it. So, before we get started, Emma, what tea are you drinking today?
So it's another tea from this box that Rosa gifted me. It is another puka tea, and it is a lemon, ginger, and manuka honey. Its description on it says, a welcoming cup of spicy sweet bliss. Spicy sweet bliss.
That's really good for digestion and also a sore throat.
What are you drinking today?
Today, I'm drinking another tea from cookietea.com. Mm-hmm. It is from my Sips By box, but this flavor is macadamia nut cookie. And I will say, when I opened it, I thought it was going to be trash. And it's not. It's very light. It's very flavorful. Overall, I enjoy it. Normally I don't like those pastry type teas, like teas that are trying to imitate a pastry. Mm-hmm. But I think this one, it just took some pieces of that particular pastry. So the white cocoa and the papaya, things that would remind you of the cookie as opposed to really trying to make it feel like it's a cookie. So it worked out this time. Still not my favorite ever, but I don't dislike it either. So that's our tea. So in our vision board episode, our vision board creation, as of this exact moment, Emma, do you have a vision board physically created right now?
No, I do not. Do you?
No. I am still in the drafting phases. I know last year I was done.
You were done last year.
Mm-hmm. And so this year, in an effort to not stress myself out or rush, I will finish it when I feel like I find all of the materials that I want for it. And I'm trying to be a bit more, one of my goals last year was financial success, and I spent way too much money on that vision board. So this year, I'm trying if I'm going to talk about financial success, the vision board can't cost $50, that.
Oh my goch, is that how much you spent on your board?
I don't want to talk about it. It's because of all the stickers.
Oh yeah, the stickers that's what gets to you. See, that's why I did it with the magazines, and I spent $5 for mine.
Well, I don't like magazines, so I haven't figured out what medium I'm going to use, but it's still not going to be magazines, so.
Going into this year, right, we have this vision board coming up. Yesterday, I found a TikTok that I sent to Chris because he refuses to get on TikTok, so it's fine, whatever. But it was by this content creator who goes by @ChakraFinder. She actually owns a skincare line called Luludi Skincare, Louludi Skincare, and I cannot find her first name on here, so I have no idea what it is. But she has a 3-part video series that I felt was really super helpful on vision boarding, and they're each 3 minutes long. But she goes off of kind of the study and the practice of Joyce Schwartz, who is, we don't know if she's actually the vision board queen, the self-proclaimed founder of vision boarding. I don't know. But Chris and I found that it was very helpful in the way that she was talking about how you reflect on your previous vision board and then carry that into your following year. So I think it's also kind of nice that we haven't figured out yet exactly how we're doing it, because you're supposed to be super intentional according to ChakraFinder in creating. You can't just go and put pictures and you're vision board, done. It's supposed to be something that you're reflective on, and you have to meditate on it. She has all these different steps. that I like ended up taking notes on, and they were very like, you have to be very intentional because it's also about manifesting as well. So there's a lot of manifestation involved, and in order to do that correctly, there's a lot of meditation involved. So I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
So we've done more research this year than we did last year, which was none. We just made vision boards.
What are you talking about? I did research last year.
No, you didn't. You were like, oh, I want to do a vision board. And then we did the episode, remember? And you were like, I actually haven't done any research on vision boards, so we just went for it.
I mean, and it worked out, though. I think maybe this year is going to be even more powerful. Watch us, like, tap into our witchy feels and all that stuff. So, we'll see. But...
So, clearly, we liked vision boards enough to do them again.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, we're doing it, but, like, there has to have been a reason. So, did you feel like it impacted change in your life? Like, was there something positive about it? Like, something, obviously, is making you want to do it again. Because when I asked, you were definitely like, yeah, let's do it. And I know I would not have asked if I didn't want to do it. So, what is it?
I think it was more about having that thing, right? It's not enough to just say, like, oh, I'm going to make a vision board. Or, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. It was having this physical poster board that was reminding me every single day, like, this is what you're supposed to be guiding yourself toward. And so I kept mine in my bedroom because I didn't really have space on the outside. I also was not, like, trying to, like, invade my mom's space and put it in the living room because it was a shared space. So I kept mine in my bedroom. And it was right next to my workspace, which I felt like was super helpful because I would always kind of like look at it and always reflect on it. And I was like, am I moving towards these goals that I had on there? Also, mine were not like, there were no like actual goals written down. It was always like quotes and sayings. And so after watching these videos, I realized that the one thing I was missing was more pictures. And so the way that, I really wish I knew her name, the way that Chakra Finder says to do it is that you have to meditate on it. And so when you're thinking about these things, like these different categories of your life, there's going to be sometimes like a picture that comes to it that reminds you of that. And then you have to think of like some kind of saying that'll match. So then it's supposed to work with both your left and right brain together to help you manifest these things. Versus if you only have words, you don't have the actual visualization with the picture to put the two things together to again create that manifestation and that power behind your vision board. So that is one thing I would improve on from last year. Where did you keep yours? Because I know you had two. You were an overachiever.
Yeah. So one of them I erased. The logical one, I erased it. It was no longer bringing me joy or serving its purpose, so I erased it.
Facts.
And then, like, the more artistic one was in my old apartment, it was right next to the front door. And in my new apartment, it was right next to the front door. So I did not have to share space, so I put it right in the front door so that I would see it every day. And when people came over, they would see it anytime. And so I got a lot of questions about what it is, and that led to some really fun conversations. And it also led to people just like checking in, being like, hey, I saw, like, how's the Brazil trip going? Like, what moves have you made? Or like, you know, I noticed, what is this? Like, what does this mean? What does that mean you're trying to do? And then just like follow up questions from it later. So I am going to keep it in that position. And I think, I just liked that it facilitated that conversation and thusly like had other people and it wasn't that they were doing it to like hold me accountable, but just those check-ins were really helpful. So I'll definitely keep that up, this year. And I don't know, I just liked having it. It was nice to visualize and to see those things. It was there, you know, it was a way to stay grounded. Like I've been a goal setter before and pretty good at it, but it's just nice. This was really good for like not losing sight of like those medium term goals. Yeah. So short term goals are really easy for me to keep track of. Long term goals are really easy to keep track of. Those midterm goals are the ones that are kind of tricky because if something changes, all of a sudden you're like, ooh, let me change my priority, and stuff gets kind of shuffled around. This kind of helped to be like, no, like this is something that I said I'm going to do. I'm committing resources to doing it. I don't know if I'm going to do all the meditative stuff that you're going to do with your vision board, but maybe I'll do some of it. You know, like I may meditate like once or something.
Well, I think you're a very good meditator anyways. Like I don't think that's a word, meditator. Mediator. You're really good at meditate. You're very meditative regardless. So I think maybe you actually kind of already do it without having to be like, I'm going to meditate on this now, you know? So.
Is there anything that you're like on your old vision board that you're just like, cool, that was cute. That was 2021. Like, I did it, check it, boom, done. Moving on to 2022.
I had a lot of like going to the stars and a new year blooms. Like, I don't need that anymore. I think I can get rid of that. Definitely the food smart stuff. Or are we also talking about what we're keeping? Or just
we
like
can, yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like you're getting rid of like the fluff, like the cute stuff. Like it didn't add anything. It was just like a quote.
Like the cats. I did want a cat. My mom still said no, and then I moved into an apartment that doesn't have cats, so I just need to let go of that dream. It's not happening. As much as I want to manifest it, I'm not getting a cat, which makes me sad. It's fine. Whatever. Yeah, so like the fluff and the things that like made my board pretty, I think that's the things that I want to let go of. And then in this upcoming year, or in this upcoming vision board year, I definitely want to be more intentional in the ways that I set up the board. So it's kind of like, it kind of looks like my brain right now in terms of it being like, this is all the stuff I want to do, but I want to start either categorizing it. I'm not sure yet if I want to go by like seasons. So like, you know, split the year into quarters and go by that. Or if I want to do it by like, this is what I hope for relationships. This is what I hope for career. This is what I hope for travel, finances, you know? So I'm not entirely sure yet how I'm going to separate it. What about you? What are things that you are leaving in 2021 on the vision board, and what are things that you are bringing into 2022?
I haven't decided if I'm going to get rid of, because like I did what you were talking about as far as like there were sections
Categories
for different things.
Yeah.
I don't dislike that, so I might bring it back in. I might leave it. I don't really know. I really have to figure out what my approach is going to be. I think what I'm going to leave on my 2021 vision board is the Brazil flag background.
I thought that was so cool, though. That was such a good...
Yeah, but it was because like the entirety of 2021 was in preparation for that trip. And so the entirety of 2022 is like... The whole year is not essentially like in preparation for that trip. So
yeah, which is also still being like, it's up in the air because of COVID and everything.
Brazil will still be on the vision board. I just don't think literally like point. Almost all of my moves last year were in relation to going to Brazil in 2022. Mm-hmm. And so I'm not like, that's not 2022 is when it's happening. I don't need to like move towards it. Like the pieces have been put in place. So I'll leave that. And then I'm just, you know, I'm carrying, I think I'll probably bring in the organization system. So
nailed it.
That's me. That's my vision board.
Okay. So again, like how we have to envisage. I had to look up the difference. Do you know the difference between envisage and envision?
Nah, I ain't never heard of envisage.
See, everyone out here, like, non-Americans use envisage instead of envision, which I think is actually more accurate. So envision is supposed to be something that's like fantastical, like almost a fantasy. Like you envision something that's like unlikely to happen, versus envisage is like you're predicting it to happen. Does that make sense?
Oh, interesting.
And I was like, because I think that's like how people use the word peruse. They don't use it correctly.
Are you not like, I'm perusing these records over here?
Yeah, I don't think that's how you're I remember that's one of the words that people are like, Americans don't use it correctly.
Well,
how many categories did you have on your board?
4.5.
And what were they?
So I did a travel one.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah. The background was Rio, or the Brazilian flag, and then there's a travel section. So I guess that's like one. Then there was a slight financial, so it overlapped with like the finances. There was
but you had the big one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then there was a baking section, a gardening section, a like yoga, meditative wellness section, and then like an exercise section. Yeah, it wasn't social. I probably should include a social one this year. But those were the categories that I had last year, and I arranged it like clockwise or counterclockwise. It really doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But they were around the board. And in the center was like the center of the Brazilian flag, which features like the stars and the blue and everything. So that was my board last year.
Okay. Cool. So going into this upcoming school, or I don't know why I keep saying school year.
Boop. Because you're a teacher.
Yeah, going into this upcoming year, 2022, what do you hope to accomplish? I'll let you pick. You pick one.
Honestly, I think I can go through all of them because it's honestly, there's not a lot that's dramatically changed. In part because like 2021, I think was the first time where I was like truly intentional about setting some of these things. And as such, like it has a foundation. So like coming up with it last year was a lot more challenging than doing it this year. This year, it's more about upgrading or changing things based on what I did or didn't accomplish. So.
I see. Okay. Let's start at the top then. From the top, make it drop. Okay, so starting with relationships then, what do you hope to accomplish relationship-wise?
I am continuing to further deepen and develop my friendships with people. I'm adding that I'm going to be very intentional about rebuilding and reestablishing the connections with my family. And then I think in 2022, I know I said that I was going to date in 2021 and then...
Liar!
And then I didn't. 2022, like, I'm taking it very serious. Like, I'm going to wait until after Valentine's Day. Like, ain't no one trying to get, like, caught up in, ooh, I got a gift, and then broken up with. So, after Valentine's Day, like, I'm...
not trying to get cuffed up before you're supposed to be getting...
we're still in cuffing season, so, like... I'm really, really, really going to commit until after cuffing season. So, like, after Valentine's Day, it's, like, fair game. I'm entering. So, those of you that are either, like, in the dating pool or have, like, recently been in it, because, it changes a lot. So, like, people who have recently been in the dating pool, like, connect. Let's reach out. Let's exchange secrets and tips and tricks of the trade because I'm starting from, like, square zero. Like, we're building this up again. I've made some attempts in the past, but we're starting over here. So that's my relationship goals. I don't know anything about your goals. Do you tell me, what are you doing in 2022 with your relationships? I mean, like, I do know, but, like, I don't know.
I mean, in terms of relationships, I think, again, same thing like what you said, building up those relationships and, making new friends. I think also in terms of my family, like making sure that we're all still constantly staying in touch and everything. Like we've been pretty good about like checking in with each other, but my sister's about to start a new job and it's going to be like a lot more, stressful. So congratulations to her. But, being very like, especially with my siblings, because we are so far in age, I think that it can be easy for us to kind of be like, not staying in touch and kind of like, catching up when we can. So I think that's definitely something I want to work on. Romantic wise, I said romantic wife. Romantic wise, I am getting married. Your girl about to be cuffed up for the rest of her life. So that's about to be me.
Mrs. Alatini Fa'oa.
Yeah, facts. Dr. Alatini, if we keep Fa'oa or not, whatever. That is a conversation that we have often, is whether or not if I become a PhD, like, will I... Because also right now, I'm not going to take his last name just because in terms of paperwork, it's not going to get done in time for me to take his last name. So we are going to be married, but for me to change like my social security and then change my visa, and it's going to be a mess. So I am going to say Alatini. I am going to be Mrs. We'll add in a hyphen. I still don't know yet. That's also something that I need to talk about is like, I don't know if I'm going to be Alatini Fa'oa or if I'm just going to be Alatini.
I think she did not say Fa'oa. So things that are not an option, just his last name. Which, it's fine. It's the 21st century. So let's what are some career goals? Because I'm not trying to get, beat up because I still live in the States. So, You're not going to have Isaac beating down my door talking about, why do you make her say that? Nope.
Career goals. I think... in terms of like where I am situated in my school, it is only my first year. There is not a lot of options in order for me to move up. Not that I'm still, figuring out the school. So I think that would also be kind of like, who is this person think she is coming in and trying to like go into upper,
Let's answer the real question though, Emma.
What is the real question?
We know you're going into year 2 at teaching internationally. Like, okay, we knew that. The real question is law school.
Am I making moves towards law school? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes, that is happening again. I did take a break from it because I was so stressed out when I moved here after talking to Isaac and after talking to my parents. It was kind of like one of those things where we were kind of like, okay, try it again this year. We'll study for the LSAT again. You know, maybe it'll be a lot easier when Isaac's there because it'll be like less things that you have to do on your own and more things that like you can kind of lean on him to help you.
And you won't have to like dedicate time to FaceTime Isaac.
Yeah, because I would be able to like, because now I'm living with him.
You know?
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those things where now I am going to be more intentional about setting my schedule. I am hoping to take at the end of the year, this year, because I was going to try to attempt to take the one that's this month, and I was like, no, I needed a break, and they only offer it 4 times a year for Asia. So I could try to attempt to take it in the States when I go back to get married, but also like there's enough going on there. Like realistically, the only time that I would be able to take it is at the end of this year. So that is the moves I'm going towards. Still looking at, now mostly I'm looking at schools in Texas.
Hook 'em.
Hook 'em. That is still my number one. If I could get into UT, like I would die. I don't know if I could ever do that, but you know, manifesting greatness to stay in Texas. Also there's no state taxes, y'all. Like I don't know why anyone would want to leave Texas. So career wise, that is kind of what I'm hoping for. So, you know, keeping my position where I am in my international school, but also still making moves to when we leave, you know, still making sure that we're moving forward with those other goals and dreams that I have. What about you, career-wise?
I think just continuing to hone my career pathway. I am in that testing coordinator, and so just like being better. That's sounds like, honestly, that's what 22 is going to be about for both of us. Is just 2021 was a transitionary year. Yeah. 2022 is about refining and upgrading, not so much about re-envisioning anything. So at this moment, that's what I'm thinking. It's just a matter of keeping it up and making it better. So that's me. Any travel plans that you have in this upcoming year?
Yes. So after talking to one of my friends about it, she kind of actually inspired me. So she wants to start taking her daughter out once a month to like different prefectures in Japan. And I was like, oh, that's like a really good goal. Like there are so many different places in Japan to visit, and it's so easily like accessible through, you know, plane, train, everything. I can't leave the country. Like I would love to be able to explore the rest of Asia, but since that's not probably going to happen until I come back in the summer, the one thing I do want to start doing is like exploring, because I'm so easily able to like, oh, I don't want to leave the house and I just want to like stay in and I'm so tired and blah, blah, blah. So like not making excuses, being really intentional, like planning out and going out there. But yeah, so that's definitely something I want to do, is explore Japan more, because this country is so dang big. So yeah, what about, I mean, it's not that big. It's like big, but it's like really long. I just looked at a map.
It's like long, but it's like, you know, it still kind of fits in Texas. So
does it really? Is it really that small?
The mainland part that's not an island definitely fits just like across, not even like the long side of Texas, like it's kind of fits across Texas. Huh. With the islands and stuff, you can like reach from like the top of Texas to the bottom of Texas.
Okay.
Which also like, Emma, get out into Japan. Like it's Texas size. Come on now. Like,
yeah, I know.
Get out there.
If I'm able to drive across Texas like in a day, like I could definitely look at Japan. I think again, like I think it's a lot of me being like, oh, I can be independent and get out there and like travel on my own and be comfortable in that. Like there is some of it that I always depend on Isaac, like when we go places, like, oh, I have him to fall on, like I just like I can easily fall back on that. But yeah, this year is definitely about me becoming more into myself. Like I think in these past 5 months I've been able to grow as an individual because I had to, like there was like, it's either I stay home or I go out there. What about you, travel wise? I know we got some big plans, hopefully, like fingers crossed.
Yeah. As of right now, the goal is still to go to Brazil at the end of June, beginning of July. I think this most recent like COVID thing stressed me out a lot because just looking at like the trends of the
transmission
disease, the virus, whatever. Delta, if I'm not mistaken, like popped up around summer 2021. And I would be really disappointed to either commit to a trip that has to be canceled because of COVID, like having actually gone through the process of doing everything and then have to cancel it last minute because there's a new variant. Or I think would be even worse than that would be getting to Brazil, getting sick, and then being there for a week just sick.
Yeah, that would be a mess.
So I think as much as I really, 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 really wanted it to happen in 2022, and I know part of it was like, I can go to Brazil, so then I can go to Japan. But like we said, like Japan's not open.
Yeah.
So it's not like, there's not like a true rush to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I can always, if things improve and get better, I can go to Brazil in the winter. There's other times to make it work, and that's fine. My biggest thing is I really don't want to go there and then get sick. That's what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
To have like spent the money, committed, and then not actually enjoyed anything because I was sick the whole time. So,
or even worse is getting stranded there too. That would be also a possibility.
It's like, oh, I made it there, and then boom, there's a new strand, and traveling is stuck. I mean, honestly, would I be sad if I was stuck in Brazil? Maybe. We don't know me in Brazil. That might be like a blessing in disguise. Who knows? So
nobody knows.
Brazil and we're going through some things right now. I'm not erasing the goal. It's not going away. I think I'm just at a point where I'm like, I have had my heart set on Brazil so thoroughly that I do not want to half do the trip.
Anything to go bad.
I don't want to half do it. If it's going to go bad, I want it to go bad in a good way. I don't want it to go bad because it was something that I kind of knew could go bad. Like, I want to get lost and then refind myself in Brazil. I don't want to go there, get sick, and then like have to just fly back miserable. Like, that's not what I'm looking for. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
And it's adaptive too. It seems like it's not like, yes, it would be nice for it to happen in 2022, but with the way that the rest of the world is going and everyone's shutting down again, like there's nothing you could do. Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Like, oh, did your actual passport come in yet?
No, I think they're moving much slower than normal. I think I need to learn how to check the status of it. I don't know how to do that, so I'll figure that out in the next few days because it's been at least a month.
Okay. I mean, it took me 6 weeks when I got mine.
Yeah, and I know that it's a delay, so I'll look into it and we'll see what happens. But I applied for it, so that's a step in the right direction.
Yeah. Okay, so moving into our next category is financial.
I crushed my goals in 2021.
Yeah, you
crushed
did.
them. Like, crushed them. And so I think what I thought were my goals were, oh, well, I've paid off all of my debt. So like, oh, I want a new car. Oh, I want to buy a house. Oh, and then like I thought and like sat and was like, wait, stop, slow down. What are you doing? So in 2022, I think I'm going to downsize again to a smaller apartment, 2 bedrooms. It was cute, but I was like, okay, like it just isn't serving its purpose fully. And so I'm going to downsize again, go back to that smaller rent payment so that I can really commit to buying property in 2025. Like that is like my big goal. And I think I might want to buy a new car, but the way the car market is right now, your boy is just going to be driving his current car until the wheels fall off because like buying a house, it's a seller's market. Getting a car, it's a seller's market. Like right now is just, for me personally, it's just not the time to be making either of those moves, which is also unfortunate because the longer I go without a car payment, the less I want a car payment. So... Yeah. I don't know. So financially, I think I don't have any immediate goals. I'm just it's all long term from here. So I'm looking at like property in the future.
Nice. Okay. So financial wise, I was making moves towards paying off my debt. So I'm still in that place right now where I am doing that. I made considerable moves going into moving here. And so still making moves to that. I think I'll have it paid off within 2 years. 2 years is my goal, is to get it all paid off. At the same time, I do want to start building my retirement up again. So I do need to get in touch with my financial advisor and figure out how I can do whatever I'm doing with that 403b, keep it there, start a Roth IRA. I have been trying to keep track of my finances in terms of like, okay, so how much disposable income do I have? Like, how much do I have left over at the end of the pay period? Like, what's going on with that? Like, okay, now where can we push that? So yeah, so there's like mini goals. I definitely want to have like my emergency fund up. Definitely want to have all of that credit card debt paid down, and increasing my retirement fund. At the way that the world is moving at this point, do I really need a retirement fund? Are we going to live to retirement age? Am I putting money in an invisible fund? Do I want to learn about crypto? Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows? 60 years ago, I'd be like, no, definitely like put in for retirement. At this point, I'm like, put in for a bunker?
Yeah, put in for safety? Yeah.
I don't know yet. Mm-hmm. So speaking of, financial well-being, we're moving into just like, I think really the mental, spiritual, emotional part of well-being. I mean, physically, I think we kind of both know we're always just striving to be a bit more fit. You're still looking for a gym in Japan. I'm, going to be starting the HIIT. We talked about that in the last episode. So don't want to spend too much time, but are you making some moves in the, we have this podcast as our kind of like intermediate Band-Aid therapy, but what other moves are you making in those categories?
If I can like financially afford it, I definitely want to start looking into a therapist. As we said, this is a very Band-Aid form. Neither of us are professionals. We do kind of just use this as a venting session, but maybe it would be helpful to have a professional on board with this. I also started going to like physiotherapy, which I didn't realize was so necessary. And, I used to do chiropractic in Texas, but physio is like completely different and more sports based and more fitness based, which I think is really helpful. So like my physio helps me with like, like you're starting to run, like don't forget that you need to stretch out your hips. Oh, you're starting to do this. Like if you're going to start lifting again, like we need to make sure that your rotator cuff is actually like rotating and not clicking. Like clicking is not normal. So definitely in terms of like that's like physical well-being, but like mental well-being, I do want to be more intentional about like journaling every day and reflecting and things like that. How are you going to take care of yourself emotionally?
I need people to hold me to it this year. I am going to therapy. I'm not looking into it. I'm going. It cannot be the research anymore. Like it has to happen, even if it's 3 sessions, 1 session. Like I gotta do it. So I am talking to people, but I have to start making moves. So please check in, message me, like text me, call me, whatever. Be like, hey, have you been to the therapist yet? Have you looked? What moves have you made? Like, now what are you thinking about doing? Like, what have you done? Because yes, this is a Band-Aid. Yes, I enjoy it, but come on now. We can't keep talking about it and then not doing anything about it. But that is not my style. So that's what we're doing. Any other things that you want to manifest, consider, set for your vision board in 2022?
But I'm feeling 22. No, like I think there's enough categories right there. I know myself now that I cannot commit to more than, 4 or 5. I do enjoy dreaming about the other categories and things like that, but that is enough. 5 categories is enough for me. What about you? Is there anything else, others?
I think I'm really going to refocus my efforts into indoor plants. I lost basically almost all of my patio plants to an overnight freeze. Rest in peace, those plants. But it's fine. You live and you learn from all of those experiences. And I think what I'm going to do is I know that I can grow outdoor things. Like this past year really showed me that. What I'm going to do is resume those efforts when I have the land and the property and I have the space and a water hose and just like...
A water hose.
Watering can is cute, but like watering hose is a game changer. So...
Facts.
I just really, that's what I'm going to keep my indoor plants. Like they're not going anywhere. I will probably buy more because that's my problem that I need to work on. I'm not working on it. I enjoy my plants. It is what it is. But I'm just going to keep it indoors for the most part. I still have 3 outdoor plants that did not die in the freeze. So I'm just going to maintain those ones and then really just keep it indoors because dealing with patio plants and then I was overwhelmed last summer with outdoor plants. Some tomatoes got way too big. So that's my other thing. And then your boy's looking into maybe starting a little side hustle of his own.
Yes.
We're gonna see. So
yes, side hustle.
It's cooking based, Emma. So cooking can be a thing. I'm just saying. So.
I'm just saying that wasn't it wasn't that it wasn't a thing. It was just like what's a career you would do? Cooking. Okay, like what are you cooking? Are you cooking at McDonald's? Are you cooking at Waffle House? Are you cooking at a Michelin star rated restaurant? Like where are you cooking?
I'm cooking food in a kitchen.
Okay, yeah. I give up.
You're right. I think those are all of our categories. I mean, I think we've been pretty intentional about our 2022. I think we're good. I'm satisfied. So with that, Emma, do you want to go ahead and move into our rapid
fire? Oh, I thought you were gonna repeat after me.
Oh, I don't have the same enthusiasm.
Oh, okay. I'll just do it. Let me just do it on my own then. Rapid fire questions.
Woohoo! All right. So who wants to go first?
I go first. Have you ever left the movie theater in the middle of a movie?
Yes, I have. Actually,
what movie?
Recently.
What? Recently?
I walked out of the Suicide Squad.
Oh.
I should have known better. I should have read the reviews. It was literally like the first 10 minutes. And I was like, oh no, this is far too graphic. I can't make it through the whole movie. And I dipped. It was too much. I almost got sick. I was like, oh no. I tried. Abort mission. So I left. I'm sure it was a good movie. There were good reviews, but your boy just does not do graphic violence very well. So I dipped. I couldn't handle it.
So not because it was a bad movie, but because it was graphic.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what the movie, it could have been great. It could have been terrible. I don't actually even know. After the first 10 minutes, like my stomach just like, I was like, nope, gotta go.
Yeah, I've never had like a reaction like that. I have walked out in the middle of a movie. It was Big Fish. So whenever your Big Fish came out, that's the one that I walked out of. The only reason why I walked out was because my dad walked out. He was like, this movie's taking too long, and he dipped.
It takes a very long time to get anywhere in that movie.
I think it was like hour 2. He was like, what is going on? And so we like walked out. He's like, what is this white people movie? What is going on? I mean, at the end, you find out everything was true, like blah, blah, blah. But yeah, he was over it. So we walked out. That's the only movie I've ever walked out of. I actually don't know. I've never seen the end of Big Fish. So we walked out halfway through. Whatever the halfway mark is, we walked out.
You know what other movie is just way too long by at least an hour? Australia.
I was about to say, I was like that Nicole Kidman movie.
When I tell you, I watched that movie and like at an hour and a half, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Roll credits. Oh, no. There's more? Okay, 2 hours. Okay, roll credits here? 2:15. I'm confused. Why is the movie still going? This should have just been 2 movies. I don't understand. Yeah, so that movie was way too long. But a digression. Any other movies that you've walked out of?
I almost walked out of Superman versus Batman because that movie was trash. I was confused half the time. I think I actually even looked at Isaac and was like, can we leave? And he was like, no. And I was like, no, for real. Like, can we leave? Like, I'm so confused. This movie is trash.
It's not good. It was not. I still haven't seen it. Couldn't finish it myself.
Don't watch it. No, don't. You don't need to. Okay. What is your rapid fire question for today?
Well, speaking of movies, my question is, what's your favorite popcorn topping?
Okay, so when I'm in Hawaii, my favorite is arare, which is like rice cracker. And yeah, that's really good. But then when I'm in the States, my favorite popcorn topping is peanut M&Ms.
So it's almost like you add almost like a food to your popcorn.
And I think because I actually don't eat my popcorn with butter or anything on it. I don't. Yuck. That's why every time we go to the movies, we have to get 2 separate buckets because
I like the little butter. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, what are your favorite toppings?
This kind of caught me out of left field one day, but like I was in the theater and I just tried it. I was like, actually, and then I told your mom about it, and now she loves it. And so my favorite topping on popcorn is sriracha.
Yes. Yuck.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that makes my popcorn soggy, I don't like.
Oh, well, you're not supposed to put it on all the popcorn at the same time.
Oh, it's like in batches?
You like layer it and then eat that layer and then layer it and then eat that layer and then layer it and eat that layer. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do remember you making it for us.
Mm-hmm. If you try to like get it on everything, it gets really soggy. Or if you like overdo it, it gets really soggy. But yeah, I don't know what it was, but like the butter and the sriracha and the popcorn, like it was.
It all hit.
Like, it's spicy, it's savory. I like this.
It hit.
Mm-hmm. So Emma, where can people find the podcast?
You can find our podcast on Instagram and Twitter at The Tea with Crema. You can also find us anywhere that you stream your podcasts. We are also newly on YouTube at The Tea with Crema. If you'd like to buy us a cup of tea, you can find us on Venmo at The Tea with Crema. We hope to see you next time. Bye!